Alrighty, hello everyone. Let's present this. Alrighty, hello everyone. My name is Kareem Okasabi, and today I'm going to be talking about the Adobe Firefly image and video generation tool. So what is Firefly? Firefly is Adobe's flagship generative AI. It can generate images, video, audio, and a bunch of other creative assets. You can actually convert your text into an image, and then you can convert that into a video, and they have a bunch of different features to convert. And so the main is just text to image and text to video, but there's also like audio support. So if you wanted to add audio to one of your assets, you can easily do that. You can also remix. So if you don't like what it looks like, you can easily remix it into a different format and you can even change the scale, which I'll show you when I demonstrate the tool. It's using advanced generative AI models. So the main one that I'm focusing on is Firefly, but the Adobe suite gives you access to like Google Nano Banana and a bunch of other AI models. The one I'm focusing on for this video is the Adobe Firefly. And then it is a transparency focused and ethically focused AI, which I will discuss kind of more towards the end of this. So we're going to first start by just showing you the demo of how it actually works. I feel like that's the best way to do it. And so when you go to the your Adobe homepage, and I actually have Adobe Premium, so I have credits here, and that is, you have to have a monthly subscription. This is a paid AI, and so you do need to have the Adobe Premium monthly subscription. You just click on Firefly right here, and it takes you right to this. And then make sure that when you're doing it, you're using the one these are just GPT and other models. You actually want to use Firefly. And so I was doing this before, a man walking through, we'll do it through Chicago. We'll start with an image, and then we'll do it as a video. So we're going to generate the man walking through Chicago. It's just an image. And as you can see here, you can also do reference image, which I'm going to discuss later on why that's important and what the consequences of that are. You can change the resolution and even the aspect ratio. You can change that. If I wanted to do widescreen, I just realized this should be the whole screen. If I want to do widescreen, I can. If I want to do landscape, I can. And if I want to reference image, and I'm going to change it now. Let's do a rat in New York City. You can change the settings to make it a different. This should generate. Let's take a look and see. But overall, it's a good AI, and I think that this is going to be superior to most other image generating AIs. And I'm going to discuss why exactly in a moment here. It's just generating the image. And as you can see, the best models are obviously going to be more intensive, and this uses 10 credits. So the more advanced the model, the more credits you're going to be using. But there's your image. This is an extremely high quality image. When you look at this, you can see how it's actually like some AIs hallucinate, and there's a bunch of crap that it puts on there, but it's actually like good quality. And so I really like Firefly overall. I think that it's very useful. You can do images, you can do videos, you can see a gallery of what other people have done, and you can edit this. So I could say like, let's use the Firefly. Let's say make it on the Empire State Building. And it will just modify what you already have. And some of these, so it doesn't allow this. And there is a reason probably why it doesn't allow this. This is actually funny that it says that. But there's a reason why it doesn't allow certain prompts. It's not just being weird. And I'm going to explain that in a moment here. There's a reason why it's picky sometimes, you could say, about specific prompts. So I said make it on a skyscraper because the Empire State Building, it doesn't want to do that. And there's a very specific reason, and I think that that's what makes this AI different than most of these image generators. So it's just taking its time. That's the only kind of drawback or limitation that I noticed when I was using it, is sometimes it takes a long time to generate, but it's going through thousands of images. And there you go. It just made it on top of a skyscraper. The image looks extremely realistic. I mean, this literally looks like New York. Now, the reason why I'll discuss why it was having some trouble with the Empire State Building in a moment. But first, let's discuss who may benefit from Firefly. Firefly is primarily intended for large and small-scale content creators, commercial enterprises and businesses, consumers on all levels, governments and regulators as well. There's some security features I'm going to discuss in this AI, which makes it appealing for regulators compared to other ones. And it's also used to train the future models. And so this is mainly a commercial oriented AI, and most of the AIs are not. Um, in terms of forecasting for the future, there are several things, future considerations and security features that Firefly has. And so they use state-of-the-art security and ethical features such as automatic metadata tagging. What that is every AI image that you make from that, if you were to copy it or save it or post it somewhere, the image metadata which is attached to the image is going to have tags which indicate that it's an AI and that it was not a real photo, which is extremely crucial for these realistic AI images because they look super, real. It's hard for people to tell, so they want to add this metadata tagging so that people and governments and whatever can identify that it's an AI image. They also add an invisible watermark, so even if you're somehow able to remove the metadata, which is possible, sometimes you can remove the EXIF data or whatever, there's still an invisible watermark that Adobe has on there. And so if you were to try to use this in a court or whatever, it's AI generated and they have a watermark on there. And so there's also cryptographic signatures, which are just basically obfuscated signatures on it to try to add these kind of digital fingerprints to it. And the point of all this is kind of to make sure that it's used ethically and fairly, and that people aren't going to be deceived into thinking it's a real image when it's actually AI. I think most of the AI image models are adding watermarks, and some content creators have found out what they are, but I think that they're adding more complex ones, and it's now going to be very possible to determine what's AI generated and what isn't. The other main consideration that this AI has, an advantage over other AIs, is it is trained on Adobe stock images only. Unlike literally almost every other, I couldn't find a single other AI image generator that was solely operating off of stock images. And so the reason that's important is if you're a content creator or a business and you're trying to make a commercial product with this AI, and you make with an AI and you make something that contains copyrighted material, that AI image could be copyrighted. So you want something that's trained only on stock images for these kind of commercial applications. And so because the content generated with Firefly is made with the Adobe stock images, I think there's 400 million stock images in their collection, it is suitable for commercial purposes because you're not infringing anyone's copyright. And that's my theory as to why that Empire State query didn't work, is because it knows that that's something that could potentially be copyrighted, and it just wants to block it and ensure that your images aren't going to get copyrighted. This is extremely important if you're making a commercial or you're going to make something commercialized or an ad or a video that you're going to monetize using these AI models. If you're just using an AI model and you're not taking into consideration whether it's going to, whether it's going to be copyrighted or not, that's a problem. So that's very important, and that's very good that they consider that. However, there are some limitations with this AI still. The ethical use of AI is somewhat mitigated by the features I just described and the fingerprinting and all that. But there's still custom prompting, and you can still upload a personal image. I showed on there's still a place for you to upload your own image. The deepfake and unauthorized personal images is another thing. Someone could, technically there's no copyright infringement. However, if someone uploaded a picture of someone in real life and they told the AI to make something with that, it has no way of knowing if the person consented to that or not. So that is still obviously a risk with this AI. The legal and security risks from AI usage are reduced by this Firefly tool, but it's not zero. And there are still criminal actors and organizations that are using AI tools like Firefly to generate content that doesn't trace back to them. And so there's something called C2PA, which Adobe and a bunch of other, there's basically Adobe and a bunch of other companies have made it this kind of coalition. It's called Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity. Adobe, Microsoft, Intel, BBC, and ARM have made this agreement to where they basically want to have every single AI image generated with one of the models from them have some kind of history label showing where the AI came from and the history of editing and how it was made and the prompt used. And so that's implemented on Firefly. That's part of the cryptographic signature. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much. Here are my sources, and thank you.